A new financial disclosure has drawn attention in Washington this week. MAGA Inc., a super PAC closely associated with former President Donald Trump, has entered 2026 with approximately $300 million in available funds. According to recent campaign finance reports, this substantial reserve is raising questions about the group's strategy heading into the midterm election cycle and what it might signal about the broader political landscape. For those unfamiliar, super PACs are independent political action committees that can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money to support or oppose political candidates. However, they cannot coordinate directly with the campaigns they support. According to federal election law, MAGA Inc. was established in 2022 and has primarily focused on supporting candidates aligned with Trump's political movement. The organization has been active in various races across the country, funding television advertisements, digital campaigns, and grassroots organizing efforts. Campaign finance experts note that maintaining such a large financial reserve at this point in the election cycle is relatively uncommon. Typically, super PACs spend down their resources closer to major elections. The size of this particular stockpile has prompted analysts to examine what strategic objectives the group might be pursuing. According to Federal Election Commission filings reviewed by multiple news organizations, MAGA Inc. reported having approximately $300 million on hand as the organization entered the new year. Public records show the super PAC raised significant sums throughout the previous year from various donors, though the specific contributor details vary based on reporting requirements and disclosure timelines. Political observers have noted several factors that may explain this financial positioning. The 2026 midterm elections will determine control of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, with numerous competitive races expected across the country. Having substantial resources available early allows organizations to plan long-term advertising buys, hire experienced staff, and respond quickly to developing situations in key districts. Reports indicate that MAGA Inc. has already begun identifying priority races where it intends to become involved. This includes both defending seats currently held by Trump-aligned lawmakers and challenging incumbents in competitive districts. The organization has also signaled interest in certain gubernatorial contests and state-level races that could influence election administration and redistricting processes. Representatives from MAGA Inc. have publicly stated that the organization is prepared to support candidates who share their policy, priorities, and political vision. According to their communications, the group views the 2026 elections as critical for advancing their legislative agenda. Campaign finance analysts from various research organizations have offered their perspectives on this development. Some experts suggest that holding this level of resources demonstrates sophisticated planning and indicates the super PAC expects to play a significant role throughout the entire election cycle rather than concentrating spending in the final weeks before Election Day. Other political strategists note that opposing groups and super PACs will likely respond by ramping up their own fundraising efforts. The presence of a well-funded organization on one side of the political spectrum typically generates counter-mobilization from the other side, potentially leading to increased overall spending in competitive races. Election law specialists remind the public that super PAC activities are subject to disclosure requirements, meaning additional information about spending decisions, donor contributions, and strategic priorities will become available through regular FEC filings throughout the year. This development matters to voters for several reasons. The presence of substantial outside money in elections can significantly influence which candidates receive support, what issues receive attention, and how campaigns are conducted. Understanding the financial landscape helps voters contextualize the advertisements and messages they encounter. Additionally, the 2026 midterms will have direct implications for federal policymaking during the remainder of the current presidential term and beyond. Control of Congress affects everything from judicial confirmations to budget negotiations and legislative priorities. For citizens interested in campaign finance reform, this situation also highlights ongoing debates about the role of large donors and independent expenditure groups in American democracy. These conversations continue across the political spectrum, with various stakeholders proposing different approaches to election funding regulations. As the 2026 election cycle progresses, campaign finance reports will continue providing insight into how various organizations allocate their resources. MAGA Inc.'s substantial financial position represents one element of what is expected to be a heavily contested midterm election year. Voters seeking to stay informed can monitor, see disclosures, and follow developments as campaigns take shape across the country.